Hi, everyone. It's Henry DeVries from Agency Rainmaker TV. This is the TV show where we help advertising and marketing agency owners make it rain to find more right fit clients. And I'm very happy today to have Chris Manley as our guest of Ingenious. And Chris, let's jump right in. Who do you serve at Ingenious?
Yeah, we serve small businesses, and that's a big group of people. It can include a lot of different types of organizations, but that's our passion point. That's who we like serving. Most of our clients are generally 2 to 10 million in revenue, and stretch anywhere from an industry perspective from small retailers all the way to B2B, manufacturing shops, professional services, nonprofits, the whole gamut.
Okay, so there's a niche. So that's always a good start. Now, what do you do for this niche?
Yeah, so we do marketing, which can be very broad, but really what our passion is working with small businesses and helping them understand some fundamentals about themselves that really empower them to do marketing. And so, for us, we have it all kind of put together in a system. We try to make it approachable for small businesses, but it starts with figuring out your purpose as a business, figuring out your audience, and then figure out what is the message that connects your audience with your purpose. And once we have those foundational pieces, then it's putting together a plan that can encompass, there definitely is part website in there, part digital marketing, but also bringing in some things that would be more traditional marketing into that as well to really try to put together a holistic plan. But also, how are we going to track that? How are we going to assess that throughout the year so that the next year we're not just creating a blueprint from scratch, we're really starting with something that we've begun building. We've gathered data, we've gathered stuff to really understand more about our client's audience. And so we begin building that into a whole framework that every year we can just get better and better at that, and really help that business really take marketing from something that's a optional activity to an actual investment.
So let's talk about that investment. The investors, is there a certain geographical area that you serve?
Yeah, we're very much a local agency. We like doing work with local clients here in the upstate of South Carolina. We do have quite a few clients outside of the upstate of South Carolina. We were just talking to one yesterday that's up in the Midwest. We've worked with them for several years. They've actually made a trip to come visit us once, just to come hang out, which was pretty cool. So we end up getting referrals for businesses that hear about us, but most of our activity is really focused in the local area. Most of our clients are within anywhere from 5 minutes away from our office to an hour and a half away.
Okay. So now let me go to the rainmaking question. How do you make it rain? This is about business development. So you have your niche, you have basically a geographic area, but you'll take referrals. What do you do? What are your metrics to make it rain?
Sure. I to answer this from a big picture and a short answer question, and then I'll go into some more detail, is sticking with the same market for the past 17 and a half years.
Hmm.
That has been our biggest key to success in keeping a pipeline of new business coming in. And of course, that pipeline will ebb and flow. We've been through recessions, we've been through a pandemic, we've been through local ups and downs and stuff like that. But consistently, we have served the exact same market for the past 17 and a half years, and that's what has kept us going. We've gotten to know our market really, really well. We've adapted to serve them where they are. Our market's never been a stepping stone to us taking on a different type of client or a different type of service. We've really responded to what does our market need, and that is, you know, that's what's made it rain.
Now you brought up the R word, so I don't usually like to go to profanity, but you use the R word, recession. So it's on people's minds, it's in the news. And I'm also familiar with the quote from the author Zig Ziglar, who said the media have predicted 10 of the last three recessions. So I don't want to be part of that. We're adding to that conversation.
Oh yeah.
But I've been, I've run agencies and done this for decades. I actually found that sometimes we did better during a recession because people know they needed us then. I mean, what's been your experience in these 17 years? Because we've
Yeah,
had
we
we've had a few since then.
Yeah, we have done a lot in educating our clients, and we're passionate about educating our clients in general. We've held the belief since the first day that we were in business that an educated client base is a better client base, and part of that goes to really helping them understand, not from a self-serving standpoint, but really from a how can we help you? How can we help you learn and get better at doing this standpoint? That when it's a recession, if you pull back on your marketing, your chances of surviving after that recession are are incredibly slim. And that's not just my perspective as a marketer. I mean, Harvard Business has done studies on this. Other authorities have done studies on this. It's proven time and time again. Companies that continue their existing marketing spend throughout a recession, or even those that increase their marketing spend ever so much during a recession, they always come out the other side better because they usually gain market share. They're staying in front of customers, and so their customers may pull back a little bit on buying during a recession, but then when they come back out of the recession, they're ready to spend at the normal levels again. Well, if you picked up, I don't know, 10%, 20% more clients during that downturn, now you've got 120% of the client base you used to have, and now they're back to spending at normal levels. And so it makes sense. It's kind of, putting common sense into place too and aligning that with the studies. But we really try to communicate that to our client base and help them understand that we're not just trying to tell you to do marketing because that serves us and helps us in some way. I don't care whether you do more marketing with us or you go somewhere down the street. If they can do it better than us, then go do it. But we want our clients to be prepared for this. We want to see them be successful long term, just as much as we want ourselves to be successful. So yeah.
Chris, there's a mental health facility in San Diego, and their ads used to be, if you don't get help from us, get help from somebody. So the implication is you're crazy and you need help.
Yeah.
And if you don't, if it's a recession and you're suffering revenue, and I'm not making light of, I know people are going bankrupt because they can't pay the tariffs for goods they're importing from China. This is the struggle's real. Um, my own team, when they said, well, what are we going to do? I said, well, we're going to do what we've always done. We're going to figure it out. We're going to pivot. We're going to change. There's always opportunity there. So I think a service like yours um, can be very reassuring, not just educational, but very reassuring during those tough times. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. I mean, and the one thing that, whether it's a recession, whether business is booming, regardless of what it looks like for any of our clients or prospective clients, the biggest thing that we want to reinforce to them is let's do things methodically. I mean, yes, you're a small business. Yes, you are trying to put the pieces together and make it work, but a long-term approach has always been one that is successful. I'm reminded. I see the book behind you that has Warren Buffett in big letters. He's never been someone to just jump onto a fad and do something for a few months. He reminds investors you got to be in it for the long haul, and that's what we try to remind all of our clients in as well. Is we're not building marketing so that you can get clients tomorrow. We're building marketing so that you can have clients next year and the year after that and the
Yeah.
year after that. And that's important for people to keep in mind.
Yeah. Well, I come from a farming background. Are you going to plant next year's cash crop or are you going to plant orchards? People are planting orchards are in it for the long term,
Yep.
and we need to be there too. And
Yeah.
sometimes we would also plant something for next season too, So
Yeah.
we do both. Um, I don't want to leave without asking you the tactical question. Um, what tactics have worked well for you to bring in right fit clients?
Yeah. Using the analogy and just going with that a little bit, I'm a big believer that you need to plant an orchard, not just one tree.
Right.
I've seen a lot of agencies that they have an all-star salesperson, an all-star owner who has this network of people, but then you run out of options. You're only picking from one tree. So from a tactical standpoint, I mean, we do account-based marketing. We know what types of clients work well for us. It's easy to identify a list of those. We want to just keep putting ourselves in front of them over and over and over again. And so, I mean, doing a level of account-based marketing, individual reach out, not in a heavy sales way, because they may not be buying today, but we want them to remember us, whether it's 6 months from now or 6 years from now when they are buying. We do a lot of local networking. We do a lot of local exposure in the business community of being in front of businesses. We do a lot of education. We put opportunities out for both business owners as well as marketers throughout our community throughout the year. And some of those are just, we do a monthly webinar that's just office hours where we've got some of our team that they're there to answer whatever questions you have, just to be helpful. And so I think all of these avenues, all of these tactics, eh, they are helpful. We do a little bit of advertising, we do some PR, but again, each of these are different trees, and some may be bigger than others, but you got to plant a lot of them to make sure that you get a decent crop because sometimes referrals is what's really driving us. We've got over 500 companies in our community that we've served over time. A lot of them have had great experiences with us. And so they're going to refer us to somebody else, to one of their peers. But you've also got to keep watering that tree, so we can't just assume they're going to reach back out. We got to continue to give that tree some water. We got to continue to tell those people, hey, we value you. So
I've studied lead generation for advertising and marketing agencies for 20 years and have written about it in Forbes, Digital, and California Business Journal, and everything else. You said the number one thing. It's a monthly, a regular, it's monthly. It's a chance to educate and answer questions. And then when they're ready, they'll contact us.
yep.
Um, and that's been proven time and again throughout it. So you're doing the right thing. Chris, thanks so much for being with us. We're almost out of time. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we go?
I think I would just sum everything up with a philosophy that we've always had, which is be helpful until they buy from you.
I've heard it another way. Be helpful until they file a restraining order. But but we're on the
That's
same
great.
path. Be
Yeah,
helpful. Thank you so
absolutely.
much. Thank you so much, Chris, for your time. I hope to have you back again. I hope I'm going to see you at the BABA event in Denver soon. Until next
Absolutely.
time, everyone, make it rain.